Today, I'm answering commonly asked questions about personal injury lawsuits. I'm going to get into some of the things that you might be wondering. I'm going to be answering questions. I'm Natalie Gerry, the principal lawyer at Gerry Law. I help injured people get the compensation that they deserve for their injuries. Let's get into the questions and answers today. First of all, what is a personal injury lawsuit? A personal injury lawsuit is a legal action started by a person who has been injured because of the negligence of someone else. They're typically seeking damages, so financial compensation for the losses that they have sustained because of the injuries that they have. If they have pain and suffering, which is almost always the case, then they are looking for those types of damages called general damages. If they have a loss of income, then they can recover that through a lawsuit. If they are unable to clean the house or walk their dogs, then they can look for those types of damages in their lawsuit. What types of injuries or incidents can lead to personal injury lawsuits? This is a good question. Personal injury lawsuits can be started after any kind of injury that is caused by someone else's negligence. And sometimes that can be a tough thing to discern. So it is important to speak with a lawyer about your specific circumstances. But if your injury was caused by someone else's carelessness or because of something they failed to do or something that they did that was maybe dangerous, then you should be looking at talking to a lawyer and getting your options for starting a personal injury lawsuit. This can include things like slip and falls, car accidents, medical malpractice where a doctor makes a mistake in your care, defective products, assaults, including sexual assaults. It should be noted that in Ontario, most accidents that happen in a workplace are covered by WSIB, so they are not usually through the civil system. So usually a lawsuit is not brought after there is a workplace injury, but it depends again on your specific circumstances. So you'll always want to talk with a lawyer about your circumstances. Next, what are the steps involved in filing a personal injury lawsuit? This is a good question, and clients are always wondering about the timelines, how long it's going to take, and there are various steps in a lawsuit and they do take time. The first step is that initial meeting with the lawyer explaining your story and the background. The lawyer will then do some searches, do some legal research maybe, or will explain to you what your causes of action could be. The searches would relate to the defendants, so the parties, like whether it's where you slipped and fell, or if it was a car accident, it's the person who was driving the other car. So some research has to be done to properly name the parties, and that would be for the statement of claim, which is the document that starts your lawsuit. After the statement of claim, the defendants defend the claim, so they would give a statement as to why they don't think they're liable. After that, there's a discovery process, and I do have another video that gets into that process in more detail that will be linked below. After the discovery process, there are some times for negotiation. So there's a pre-trial, and then counsel can independently look at settlement between the parties. After that, it's getting ready for trial, getting your expert reports, actually expert reports before the pre-trial even happens. The pre-trial is the chance for the parties to sit down with a judge who will not be the judge at trial. So the judge can hear both sides, give an opinion, try to resolve the matters. I do have a more detailed video about pre-trial as well, linked below. After that, if the parties cannot resolve, then they move on to trial. So those are just the general steps in the litigation. How long does it take for a personal injury lawsuit to resolve? So this question is very common. I get it a lot, and clients always do want to know how long things will take. And the answer is that it really depends on the action. It depends on the severity of the injuries. The injured person should be looking at getting better before settlement, because you want to know what the maximum level of recovery will be before settling the file, or even really before trial, or at least have a medical opinion about how long the injuries are going to last. The other thing that can affect the length of the case is the opposing counsel. So how the lawyers are treating the case, whether they're looking at resolving it or not. If the lawyers are very contentious about it, then the matter would take a lot longer, and you might be looking at going all the way through all of the steps and getting to trial. The case can be resolved at any stage in the litigation, whether that's even before a statement of claim is issued, or if it's after the defense is filed but before discoveries, or if it's after discoveries, or if it's after pretrial, or if it's 1 minute into the start of the trial that the parties have spent months preparing for. The case can really settle at any time. The answer, unfortunately, is really that it depends. It depends on the type of matter and the way that the matter rolls out. It's hard for a lawyer to tell you exactly how long it will take. What types of damages can be recovered in a personal injury lawsuit? You might be wondering what types of things you can claim for, and as I described a bit earlier, there's the pain and suffering general damages that you can claim for. Then there are the more financial losses, the loss of income, the cost of care going forward. If you need someone to come into your house and care for you, then you can claim for that in the lawsuit. There is, of course, the loss of income that can add up quickly if you're out of work because of your injuries. And then there is anything out of pocket really that relates to your injuries is something that can be claimed. I do have another video where I get into more about the types of damages. You may want to look at that, but these are the general types that you can claim. You may also be wondering, do I need a lawyer to file a personal injury claim, and do I need a personal injury lawyer? The answer to that is no, you don't necessarily need one, but it is a fairly complicated process, even starting with describing the case to your lawyer and them determining what your best cause of action is and what legislation you're bringing it under, and doing the searches so that you name the parties correctly. It's not imperative that you have a lawyer. You can represent yourself, but chances are that mistakes could be made. And there are timelines on many personal injury lawsuits, so you don't want to run out of time to file your claim. So it is usually important that you speak with a lawyer and at least have a consultation and see what your case is all about and get some advice on it. So I would highly, highly recommend that you do seek advice on your personal injury matter. That's it for our questions today. If you have any other questions, please feel free to submit them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them in coming videos. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more legal videos, and I'll see you in the next one.